If you aren't ready to clearly communicate about the content included in each DLC and when each DLC will be ready for launch, you shouldn't offer a season pass on Steam. And welcome back to the 94th episode of PandTha Talks.
Hello.
This week is a weird week. As usual, we are streaming, so that's always good. If you do want to join in a future episode, we stream every Sunday, it seems. And this is where we do the podcast live. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to jump in the future. The Twitch is actually in the description of the videos now. I finally did that. Took me a week to figure out that I should probably add that in there.
Look at him go.
I know, I'm learning. It's insane. But
Dangerous.
it is. But we have some. It's pretty much all good news this week. There's just a little bit of things that could be improved, and that's
as
about
you
the
can
most it
guess,
goes.
I don't believe him.
Yeah, he never does. Due to me saying this before and being wrong. Yeah. So we'll be starting out this week with Steam updating their policies on season passes, which I think
Oh, did you send me this or did I see this?
I sent you this.
Yeah,
I
remember reading it.
It was hilarious to me. There was a sentence a little after what I sent you, which made me laugh genuinely. After that, everything's about Stalker 2. I really cannot.
Literally.
Yeah, I literally cannot state that anymore. There are 10 tabs in this week's repertoire, and it's 9 of them Stalker 2, all covering little bits and different
fancy pants over here.
While using the word repertoire.
On today's repertoire.
Right.
Fuck out of here.
Well, let's just move straight into this then, shall we?
Nothing fancy about this. Don't ever try.
True. So, start out. Steam tighten up rules for games with Season Pass DLC. You have to commit to completing that content on time.
Imagine
Honestly.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like this should have been done from the get-go.
Next, we just need games being released in full state, you know?
Yeah, exactly. DLC delays now limited to 3 months, plus mandatory refunds for cancellations.
I mean, you would expect that anyway.
You'd expect it, but for some reason...
for something and then it gets cancelled. If I didn't get my money back, is that not just stealing?
Pretty much. But the other thing is, before this wasn't really implemented by anyone else. Unless the company themselves who made the fuck up decided to refund, no one would get refunds. That's how difficult it is to argue the refund policies. So, if I'm right, the bit I sent you was this bit. So I'll start reading, I'll get to the bit that made me laugh. Valve has unveiled a new policy about season passes on Steam, which aims to ensure that developers release all the individual DLC involved on time and share adequate details about each DLC pack in advance. Yeah, it's almost like we should know what the fuck we're buying.
I feel like they've got it a bit mixed up here. When I think of season pass, I think of the bullshit. Every 2 to 3 months, there's a whole new line of cosmetics that you pay a stupid amount of money for.
See,
whereas I would more refer to these as like deluxe editions or whatever you want to call it, anything along the lines of that.
See, originally they were called the season passes. Ironically, before season passes for battle passes came out.
And they've just completely ruined the look of it.
Yeah, well, as you can see, it's still well documented.
Yeah.
Because Star Wars Outlaws has done it. And they've actually had to state things, which is good. But the one thing I don't see is a rough date in which we expect all content to be released. Which ironically came out on the exact same day that this came to Steam. which made me laugh, I've got to admit. So it specifies the developers can delay release of a season pass DLC just once. So they can only delay one DLC once, and by no longer than 3 months. In the event that a developer postpones DLC release by longer than 3 months, Valve may take such corrective actions as removing the season pass from sale and or refunding players.
The fact that that's the limit, though, 3 extra months. How fucked is that DLC if you need another 3 months?
Yeah, like full games, I can kind of understand that, but
We've seen
DLC,
countless full games in quotation marks get
yeah,
delayed time and time and time again. We have recently seen one get its beta access removed as well.
mm-hmm. Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yes, yeah, still can't wait to see how that outcome.
Yeah, that one's looking more and more like a shit show every day.
Ah,
By offering,
uh,
I think. Oh no, it was this line that I laughed at, but this is the next bit. By offering a season pass, you are promising future content. This was the Steamworks post in question, which was circulated by Blue Sky, aka Twitter 2010 edition, by SteamDB.info creator last night. In the process of launching a season pass, you will be asked to commit to a launch timing for each content release in the season pass. It reads that launch timing is a commitment to both customers and Steam. This is the bit that had me laughing. If you aren't ready to clearly communicate about the content included in each DLC and when each DLC will be ready for launch, you shouldn't offer a season pass on Steam. So straight up what they've said is, if you're not willing to do things the right way and the consumer friendly way, fuck off. I can get behind that. I'm fully in support of it. It's
it's kind of shit though to think about that we're at the stage where every game that gets released is no longer a full game, and you're
yeah.
eventually having to pay extra to get more of that game.
Hmm. Yeah, I was talking about this with my dad the other week. Because years ago, my dad was actually the one that put the controller in my hands that got me into gaming and all that. But the reason we were discussing it is because when I was younger and he was introducing me to games, when you paid for a game, you got the full game. There
Yeah,
wasn't updates, things like that. You got what was on the disc, and that was it. If that game had a bug, it was permanent.
yeah.
If it had, if it was
And
great, it
that's
was
the thing
amazing.
though. Like they got released in a decent state, you know.
Yeah, exactly, because they knew they had one chance, and that was it. Now, they worked around that by reselling the game as, for example, PlayStation did this quite a lot. They had the platinum version of a game, which basically had a few updates to it, and that was PlayStation's little way of doing things. But the reason my dad's getting so annoyed nowadays, I was speaking to him about it just literally 2 days ago. Um, I remember back when games were like £30 for a full price brand new release. Now, don't get me wrong, games are going to go up in prices, but he can't get his head around DLCs. It doesn't make sense to him because you pay full price for a game, which nowadays you're talking like 70 quid. And then you're having to pay more for things that should have been in the game at release. Now, I turned around and argued with that point of there's one game I can make an exception for. And that is because when I saw how they did DLC, I was quite happy. So, The Witcher 3, I've spoke about it a few times. It stands as overwhelmingly positive with almost 750,000 reviews, so you know it's a good game. It stands up damn well. But the reason I really go happily when it comes to their DLCs is they were made after they fully developed the base game. And it wasn't just an addition to the base game. It was a brand new area, a brand new main story for this area, and loads more to explore, loads of side quests, things like that. And it was pretty much you would get like another 15 hours of main story just in just in one of these areas. And yeah, they charged about £30 at the time, but a couple of years later, you can get them for relatively cheap, especially when they're on sale. You can get the full game for about £5. But if they're willing to do that, it's pretty much like a brand new part to the game that wasn't supposed to be there at launch, but because it still had such a large fan base, it continued.
And that's exactly what DLC should be.
Yeah,
Not the remainder of the base game. Not here's chapter 1 and 2 of a game. Now pay for chapter 3 when we decide we're going to finish it.
exactly.
It should be here's the base game. That's the price you've paid gets you access to the full game.
Yep.
A while down the line, oh look, we've decided to come up with this to continue the game because the game did so well and people want more of it. And it's a better idea than creating a whole new game. Instead, we'll add a portion on
Yeah.
that continues the original. That's not the price, obviously, of a full game, but that's just not what people do anymore.
No, 100%. And that's what I was looking for in here because I thought it happened in this. Um, I know it happened in Stalker, and it's one of the negative things I'm going to talk about in a little bit, so I'll just quickly bring it up. But in Stalker, for example, there's a part here, bonus side quest. That should be there by default.
Yeah,
There's no such thing as a bonus side quest. You should have that as default content because you
yeah.
made it for that. That's where I really do disagree when it comes to this, but that's its own thing. That's something I'm going to mention a bit further later, but I feel like I've hit really the main part I wanted to on that. But that's something I disagree with, and that's something my dad really doesn't like. But yeah, we discussed this in quite a bit of detail because, as he said, when you bought it back then, you got the full game. Nowadays, you pay even more money for a full game, and you get like 95% of the game with
Not even.
5%. Well, yeah, depends how broken it is as well. You
Not even
probably
in terms of like bugs and glitches. Just it's getting worse and worse. Where
oh,
you're
yeah.
getting less of the game at launch for the base price of the game.
Yeah. What would you say, about 80%
If you're lucky, to be
if you're
honest.
lucky?
And then on top of that, you're waiting who knows how long for them to actually fix major issues with the game.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's just a bit mad, to be honest with you.
And then, as we've
So
seen as well, like the performance in all of games are getting worse.
yeah, 100% it is.
The
It's
actual content as well is getting even worse.
oh, yeah. It's a mad case, to be honest with you, and I don't think it's going to be something that's gonna be easy to uproot either. Originally, I think when games moved from this original layout of discs held the entire version and that was it, to we can actually update these games without sending out a new disc, maybe what we should do is just patch things and fix things and add little things here and there, and we don't have to charge them for it. Like, that would have been fine. But now they're just based around the idea of, oh yeah, well, sorry, we're putting this behind a paywall, this behind a paywall, and this behind a paywall. Why? Because we want more money. Simple as. Selling a season pass has risks. Since you're promising the release of future content, you have to commit to completing that content on time. If customers don't like the content that you're releasing in the season pass or the timing of the content release, that will be reflected in sales and reviews. This post includes a set of required features for any season pass on Steam. Come feast your eyes upon these hot, juicy bullet points. It's an interesting term.
One way to describe it, yeah.
Oh, 100%. A completed list of all DLC included in the pass, i.e., listing each of the 4 DLCs included in. a pass, I'd imagine then it'd be my apologies, throat's a bit clogged. I'd imagine then you'd have to put a description in for what that DLC includes. Actually, right here. A basic description of the content that's included in each DLC. For example, the first content release might be the Glitterlands expansion. New area to explore, 2 new weapons, and new enemies. It's not required for the DLC to have a final name at the launch of the Season Pass. The information about the content in the DLC doesn't need to be detailed, simply new weapons or 2 new weapons is acceptable. They don't have to list the exact weapons. Makes sense. Because you don't want to be giving away everything straight away, and Steam clearly don't want to do that either. Expected release date for each DLC, quarter and year, i.e., January to March 2025 or season/year is acceptable. Of course, a date that's more precise is also fine. June 2025 or June 1st, 2025. Valve added that a season pass should also should include at least one release DLC when it goes on sale, with the obvious exception of season passes sold as part of a pre-order. As for today's DLC releases sold as part of a season pass, Valve will allow developers to self-reschedule the release date one time only by up to 3 months later than you originally selected. If a DLC pack needs a longer extension, the creators will need to contact Valve directly and haggle it out. Good luck to them.
Yeah.
In the event of DLC cancellations, Valve mandate that customers will be offered a refund for the value of unreleased DLC. The company may take action on any DLC delays or of longer than 3 months, even if there hasn't been a customer complaint. Actions include removing Season Pass from sale on Steam, refunding all customers who purchased the Season Pass for the value of the unreleased DLC, or allowing customers the option of refunding the entire Season Pass. The post goes on. For purposes of refunds, the value of unreleased DLC will be decided in discussion with Valve. That sounds like the companies are going to get absolutely destroyed if they decide to suddenly cancel DLC in Season Pass. Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm looking at you. You might be the first company to fuck it up. Good luck, Ubisoft. I'm definitely not rooting
They're
for you.
gonna need it.
Yeah. Like, best of luck, honestly. I just want to cover that quickly, and then we can move straight on to Stalker 2, which obviously released Wednesday last week. Well, Wednesday this week, technically for us, but last week for everyone else, because it releases tomorrow. So, yeah, it released. I played it when I got back from work on Wednesday. I played for about an hour and a half on Game Pass. I then proceeded to play for a couple more hours on Thursday, I think it was. And I ended up with about, I'd say, 5-6 hours in game at that point. Let me just check. I've got to check these details to make sure I'm not completely messing myself over. Go on, Xbox. Let's have a look.
Well, I'll call you a liar. Don't worry, Rory.
Oh, I know you will. You'd call me a liar even if I wasn't lying. We both know it. I don't want to let the world know where I am. Leave me alone. 5 hours, 40 minutes.
6 hours, my ass.
I did say 5 or 6.
Yeah, it was a 6, was it, Rory?
Yeah, but it was literally between the two.
You led us to false hope.
Fuck off. I then, on Friday, decided I was enjoying it so much and decided to actually buy the game. I've since put another 4.1 hours in the game on Steam, starting fresh.
Oh, so you did just completely lie to us then. This guy, man. Can't
No,
trust a
I
word
actually
he
was
says.
stating that the first part was played on Xbox.
Can't trust a word this guy says.
So, I have a fair few hours in it now. Not as much as some people. I was wanting to play more yesterday, but I didn't really find the time. Um, but yeah, I've been thoroughly enjoying the game. It's definitely got its performance issues at the moment. There's also a couple bugs. I was in a shack next to a poppy field. Now, this poppy field and shack really annoyed me because when you're running through the poppy field, your eyes start closing, and you need to keep topped up on energy drinks so you don't suddenly collapse.
I saw that area.
Yeah. If you do
There's a
collapse,
there's a
you
there's
wake up
like a
somewhere
guy
random.
there's a guy there's well not a guy but like a note you can find that somebody had left like some energy drinks behind.
Yeah,
Take what you need, leave what you can.
I took all of them.
No, I mean
It's all
obviously.
mine. Um,
Why would you leave anything?
exactly. Um, then there was the guy who wanted me to help him, so that he would tell me where this cellar is. I already knew where it was, but they tried getting me to sell the religious iconography to him instead of the guy who asked me for it for a gun, which I was tempted by, but he was being a bit too much of a dick about it. And I told
Mhm.
him, no, I'm going to give it to the other guy. So he then proceeds to, what was it now? Say, oh, well, you shouldn't be so sentimental in the zone. You're not going to last long. So I shot him in the face with a shotgun.
And
Uh,
then took the gun he was offering?
no, the gun that he was offering wasn't on him. I don't know where the fuck it is. I
Hmm.
wonder if he gives you location for it or something. And that's why I couldn't find it. More than likely, like. But I got his
You
key to his room next to him and got a few bits of loot. But
you missed
the
out on the classic quick save, do the one you don't wanna do, find the
yeah,
location, then quick load.
that's a solid idea. Actually, I should have done that because this game has dedicated quick save and quick load buttons like the original
Even
does.
better.
Because this game is a case of if you die, you're probably reloading from a little bit ago. The To be fair though, the auto saves are probably like once every like 3 to 5 minutes, so it's really easy to like continue. But
You
the reason
you
I'm
think that, but all you have to
yeah,
do is mention Bethesda, where there's
true,
literally, like, 3 different things that autosave every 5 minutes if you do them, so going to a
yeah,
door or opening your Pip-Boy or your inventory.
yeah, I know what you mean.
But somehow you end up going 2 hours without doing any of that, and then you die, and
Yeah,
then you realize, and then you know, your
return two
motivation for
hours.
the game suddenly goes, "Woo."
Isn't that the truth? Um, The reason I'm telling this story, though, is to actually get to a point where a bug happened. It was my first experience of actually dealing with a bug in the game, and basically, in this guy's house where I shot him in the head. Um, I went to leave, and the door would only open an inch, and that was it. And usually, like if you open the door, like to peek through it and then walk into the door, it'll then proceed to like push it open, which I quite like. It's a nice little mechanic. So was running through doors and things, and it just like full force smash through doors. It's always fun. But I was trying to get out of this door, and it just wouldn't let me through. It seemed like the wind was pushing it closed, but I couldn't get out. And I kind of just embodied mining your typical nature of making games break. And I was like, how can I get out of this door? Can I run at it at full speed? No. Can I walk into it and just peek it? No. Can I just open it and be quicker? No. Wouldn't work. Okay. There's a small area. What if I crouch? Yeah, that works. I just crouch glitched my way out the fucking door, walked forwards. Next thing, the door opens the complete opposite way completely. It's like, fuck you too, door. Didn't like you anyway. So yeah, there's been a
Drawing
few
1,
bugs like that.
door 0.
Yeah, there's been a few bugs like this, where people are dealing with like NPCs that are just stood in doorways and you can't get out. Thankfully, you can
Oh,
kill anyone in this game.
that classic bullshit from NPCs.
Yeah, thankfully, you are able to kill like a good 98% of people, if not everyone. I've not tried, but I've killed a couple people that were just minding their own business. I must admit. I'm not always the best person, but the reason I brought up like the website here, for example, I just wanted to show some basic footage of how the game's looking. It doesn't run great, as I said. It definitely needs some work. They're already apparently working on it. But yeah, we'll get to that as and when. So, Stuck 2 released on Wednesday, the 20th, if I recall correctly. Yep, 20th of November. And it's currently at 78% positive out of 27,645 reviews. And pretty much every
Considering they're
complaint,
developing from a war zone, that's pretty damn good.
yeah, pretty much every complaint is very similar. Some bugs, performance issues, soft locks due to optionals or whatever. There's some bits that definitely need work. You can't sell broken guns, which annoys a lot of us, and you can't repair guns in the field like original Stalker. There's some mechanics like that that the original Stalker games had that this one doesn't, and a lot of people would like to see that pushed a bit further. But we'll see what they do. I also found out, I don't know how I missed this. They're doing a
Oh,
multiplayer mode.
and look at that! It's not a DLC.
Yeah, I
Wow.
I'm I didn't even know about this, but apparently I'm a little bit disappointed because it's not going to be co-op. It's not like co-op campaign or anything. It's like an arena shooter, like old
Oh,
Call of Duty style sort of thing,
that's sad.
which I'm a little disappointed by. But the way I'm looking at it is, all modders need is a system that's in place to already connect to servers.
In fairness, they've opened mods up to the rest of their
Yep.
games. So, fingers crossed.
This is kind of what I'm looking at here. Mod support gives the freedom to the creative Stalker to extend and enrich the game universe, and then multiplayer mode. Now, this will immediately give the modding community an easy way to follow of how to basically get the game to connect to a server.
Yeah,
All they
it's
need
not
to
going to
do
be a
then,
scarring together case where they had to do it from scratch.
exactly, all they need to do then is figure out how to connect it directly to a single player world and how to create something that links them. Once they've done that, you could literally just play co-op with friends.
Are they going to have their own servers, or will it be like a player host?
I'd imagine this would be their own servers, but I suppose it could also go player host. It all depends.
If it was player host, that would make it a lot easier.
Yeah, 100% it would. But to be fair, making it so that it swaps from server to player host shouldn't be too complicated either.
Hey, they're the
So,
modders, man, not me.
yeah, exactly. But
They know what they're
yeah,
doing. We leave it to them.
yeah, that we do, mate. There's also been like a little thing found. Do you remember in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's campaign where you're sniping at Chernobyl?
Didn't play Modern Warfare games, but I'm
Ah,
sure if I saw it, I'd know it because I've seen a lot of it.
well, basically, there's a part where you're sniping in a building in Chernobyl,
Hmm.
and the Stalker devs decided to honor that by putting a sniper rifle at the exact spot in the exact building that you snipe out of in Modern Warfare 2, the original Modern Warfare 2 campaign.
Ballsy move, honestly.
It, it,
You know what? You know
it's a
what companies are like these days. They try and copyright that shit if they could.
Yeah, true. But
We
it's a
did it
nice little
first.
reference. It is a nice little reference and a callback. A lot of people, they're like, it's lovely. It's a really nice looking game. I think this guy's probably going to be relatively unbiased, so we'll have a quick read of his review. He's got 28.3 hours on record, 26.8 at the time of review. I'm so torn on this game. In some aspects, you can feel the love and care, but in many, it's like a last minute school project. One thing I will quickly mention before he starts: do not play this game with English voice acting. I never thought I'd say it, but the English voice acting does not suit. The You can play Ukrainian voice acting and just subtitle it, which I think is probably going to be your best bet. it fits the environment much more. So pros. Landscape is pretty authentic and it builds on previous Stalker games. That's all being said and pretty loved by the community, to be honest. Audio design is pretty good when it works. Gunplay is solid with some caveats. What made you laugh? The when it works.
Yeah, that's
To
like
be
every game ever at the minute.
Yeah, to be fair, I've not experienced the audio design having issues as of yet, so I'm not too certain on the
Honestly,
when it
they
works
just
bit.
it sums up every single game being released or like
Yeah.
that's currently played. When the audio works, it's perfect. You can hear every single footstep
Oh
when
yeah.
it works.
The thing about this game as well, it's not just you're listening out for footsteps and stuff. It's the game likes to build an atmosphere and fuck you up. So not just are you hearing footsteps, you're hearing the wind blow, fucking anomalies left and right, grenades and gunshots in the distance that have nothing to do with you, of other stalkers just surviving. And then, just randomly, some dogs are now running at you, howling in the distance.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Oh, it's terrifying, mate. It is absolutely mortifying sometimes. The gunplay I actually have been enjoying quite a bit. So some decent gun customization as well. I had to
It's like the most
upgrade.
important thing of a shooter is the
Yeah,
guns, you know?
like I had to upgrade my little SMG yesterday. I bought a holographic sight for it because I wanted a sight on it after being iron sights the entire time. So I decided to buy one, and I realized, shit, I need to upgrade the gun first to actually add the sight rail on it. So I went to the guy who does that and bought the upgrade from him. He added the sight rail.
I
I
was
then just put my
fully
sight on.
expecting you to say you shot him in the face and took the rail, but okay.
No, no. He has to upgrade things for you. It's a bit annoying because at one time in the old Stalker games, well, more Anomaly I remember, but I suppose it was the old Stalker games as well. You would do that yourself. You get the tools for it and stuff like that. I'm thinking modders are probably going to make it so that it's like it is in Anomaly in the old Stalker games. So I'm expecting to see more similar stuff coming out over time. Characters and clothing looks awesome. Yeah, to be honest, there's some pretty expected stuff. Lighting and reflections on high or epic is stunning. It does look really bloody good. It's just when it works. NPCs in villages feel good and immersive. Yeah, they do. Right. Let's get into the bad
Ugh.
stuff.
You're scaring me, Roy. You said this
Yeah,
was gonna be a happy episode.
it is. It's just there is some things to criticize, but
You're not filling me with confidence.
they're also already working on it. So I'll cover it and then I'll move straight on. So cons. Performance. I already discussed this with you prior. With 120 to 150 FPS, it feels like 40 to 80 FPS at best. That pretty much is just actually what it runs. My guess is frame timing. I can tolerate low consistent FPS, but this is just bad. 4070 super, so on and so forth, SSD on medium settings. I'm running on high. I was running on ultra.
In fairness,
Well,
though,
epic.
he's got like their recommended graphics card as well.
Has he?
Which again, yeah, it's 4070 or a
Oh yeah.
3070 Ti.
Yeah, I mean I'm running a 3080 Ti, so I'm
Yeah,
on
so
the recommended.
you should be over the recommended
Yeah.
theoretically.
Um Medium and low settings are plagued with visual bugs and glitches which ruin immersion. I've only dealt with one visual bug, which was pretty much the ground just loaded in for a few seconds, but that was because I was running it on a slower SSD. I've since moved it to an M.2 and that's completely stopped since. Clunky inventory and stash management with dumb controls. See, the inventory I think could do with a little work. It's just like I'd like to see an option to rotate items if there isn't already one. I've not seen it yet, but that could just be me. Also, just hit sort. That sorts that. Stash management.
I don't know. I can
Same thing.
understand where this guy's coming from, man. You know, you
You
get
like
inventory,
manual.
your like your bullets and stuff, like things you're gonna continuously use that you're not gonna want to accidentally get rid of.
Yeah.
You like I would always put that to say the bottom right corner or the bottom left corner.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of the opposite in that one. I just have it auto sorted because
But
most of it is on like quick binds.
on a
Oh,
lot of games though, whenever you're picking stuff up, you know, the first place it goes to is closest to the top left corner of your inventory.
yeah, I know I get that. Bullet sponge enemies with armor values, whereas bloodsuckers apparently have invisible EOD suits. I do agree with this because back in old Stalker, which is what obviously we're mostly going to be comparing it to, enemies weren't really as bullet spongy. Dependent on where you hit them, dependent on severe damage. You were a glass cannon, as was everyone else. You got shot, you were probably going to die from the encounter. They got shot, they were probably going to die from the encounter, vice versa. It was difficult to survive, and it's always been one of them game franchises. Weapon and armor degradation versus price to repair is not balanced or lacks repair mechanic to fix it myself. I'm with you on that. I've got a gun that's got large damage on it, and to fix it, it's going to cost me 6 grand. And after shooting it for probably an hour and using it as my primary gun, it'll probably be straight back to I'm going to need to pay 6 grand to fix this. So
Yeah, there's nothing worse than when you get a gun that you either enjoy or just you've been struggling to find a good gun. You finally do find one, uh, and it's broken 5 minutes.
yeah, like
Do you find guns at full durability, or can they come broke like with low durability?
so there's three durabilities. There's the lowest, which is red. You've got yellow, which is medium, and then you got full durability. There's no color for that.
Can you
So
find
you
stuff
can
with low
find them at
durability?
all three versions.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than
Low,
that. You find a gun that's finally really good, and it's already on low durability.
yeah. See, low durability guns still work. They're not going to just break on you, but what it is basically, if they're on low durability,
The
there's a high
jam and
chance
shit,
of
I'm guessing.
jamming and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly as you imagined. Um, so like I had I find most of my guns from enemies. If you find them on enemies, they can be any of the three. Same with if you find them in containers. To be fair, it all depends on your luck. But if an enemy is shooting it, it's most likely going to be medium to low durability. That's just how it is, pretty much.
The thing that sucks about that as well is when you're on low durability, sometimes even medium, the gun may as well be unusable because every time you need to crucially shoot is when your gun will jam.
You know,
At least that's my experience, just
yeah,
based off of my bullshit luck.
mate. I was jumping around with like a double barrel TRZ shotgun, and I was going after what's called fleshies. Just to give you an example, fleshies are them.
So mutated dogs?
Oh well, these are the dogs.
Yeah.
These are like dogs
Mu-
on steroids.
yeah, mutated dog.
Mm. So he, being the little dick he is, I got surrounded by like 12 of the bastards.
Double barrel doesn't sound ideal for 12.
No, no, but I didn't want to waste all my bullets, and I had tons of shotgun rounds. You know what I mean? It was kind of a
What
basis of what can
was a
I go without.
scenario of I'm at least taking a few you fuckers down with me.
Oh no, I took them all out. But the first time I did this, because I did this on two separate occasions, on the Xbox version and on the Steam version. So the way I was playing it on the Xbox version, I'd done this multiple times on there. I jumped up on a car and they can't get you. But they realize we can't get him. He's got eyesight on us. We need to run. So what they do is, and I quite like this, the AI is smart. They realize they can't get to me. They realize this pretty quickly. I've got like a second or two to shoot at them. Then they run away and hide behind something so I can't shoot them. The only way to get them to come back out is to go onto the ground, which they'll run out, and if I jump back up, they'll immediately turn around and start running back. So I'm fucked in that situation.
Ah, no, it sounds like the classic kite the AI.
See, that's what I had to do. That's what I did in the Xbox version. Yesterday, while playing, I was doing the exact same process. I decided, what can I do? So I just moved out of the way when they started to like jump at me and just double blasted them in the face. That was a lot more effective. Why I didn't think of that at the beginning, I don't know. But I think I was just too afraid of being hit back then because I had like one med kit to my name. Now I've got like 7 med kits and 28 bandages. That I don't really need to care.
I'll keep
Um,
you going for a little bit.
yeah, like I'm all right on that one. Consumables are everywhere, and there is no. Oh, that was the point of that story. My shotgun was on low degradation. Every time I went to fucking shoot someone, it would jam. And to unjam the shotgun, you have to open the shotgun up, pull the ammo out, look down the barrel, put the ammo back in, and cock it back. It's like, I hate this.
Lovely.
Yeah, so the TOZ is a fucking nightmare on low degradation. On high, it's great. When it's all working fine, fantastic.
As with most guns, I would imagine.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it was like the worst time possible. But thankfully, I was on top of a car when that happened, so I
Hmm.
was still quite upset though. Consumables are everywhere, and there is no limit on healing. So argument for difficulty goes out the window. I smell poor balancing for console players. To be honest, like, yeah, there is a fair few of them, but for example, I'll use bloodsuckers or major mutants as an example here. Actually, I can even use fleshies as an example. These buggers, they jump at you, 3/4 of your health is gone. They
Yeah, seems good.
slash you with their claws, you're bleeding. There was one time where I got literally, I had like 3 pixels of health left. I was trying to bandage, but the bandage didn't go on quick enough. So I died in the middle of bandaging. I was so upset.
That
Thank,
sounds upsetting.
yeah, thankfully I was,
So
you know,
3 pixels is the limit. You know, you
yeah,
need 4
apparently,
pixels to get the bandage off.
apparently so. I just decided to use the art book that I got in the premium edition to like show some bits because I think some of the artwork is really nice for the game. But I'm using this as like some examples of little bits and bats. These anomalies as well look fucking stunning. But they've done a really good job with the anomalies. Right, let's continue with this though at the same time. No description for difficulty variants. It feels like someone did whole balancing of most aspects day before release. I kind of get what he means. There's no real understanding of what the difficulty versions change. Uh, weapon balance is straight from some Ubisoft game. PM, which shoots 9 by 18mm, has better damage than ballistics than USP. Explain a bit better on that one. Lack of tiered reload system for guns is criminal in 2024. What's that about? Does he mean
I'm
like
guessing.
different reload animations?
I don't know if it's like better quality weapons or something, having like quicker reloads or something like that. Not too
Yeah.
certain myself.
I mean, that's what the upgrades are for, though. So, keybinds, I do have a story for this actually. Can't change essential like consumables, flashlight, and default is fucking bullshit, I'd
It,
imagine.
it really upset him, apparently.
Yeah. So, their flashlight is L.
Oh, and you can't change it?
Not currently, no.
Oh,
Now, to
that is
me,
criminal.
that doesn't bother me. The reason being I've played Metro, and that is
Yeah,
Metro's default key,
with the
and
lighter.
that's what you use, you
Yeah,
know.
that's annoying as well.
Yeah, I know it is. But for me, because I'm used to that already, it didn't really fry my head too much.
But
What
you can't
did,
change it in Metro though.
yeah, but what did piss me off? What do you think their default lean control is?
My I usually have between Q and E.
Yeah, no, no, no. It's Z and C.
That is so awkward.
Yeah, because Q and E is your. So basically, the way it works on your HUD, you'll have quick consumables, four of them. You've got two for Q, one which is I use pretty much press Q and I get healing. Hold Q, I get bandage to stop bleeding. Then E would be like let's say energy drink for press, and hold would be anti-rads. Now, what I did was I swapped Q and E to Z and C. So that way both of them switched around. That way I got my consumables on Z and C, which is still pretty close to my fingers at all times. And then I got my leaning on Q and E again. You can swap them though. So I was kind of confused when he mentioned essentials like consumables can't be changed. I have changed them. So I'm not sure what he means by that one, to be honest. But yeah, I highly recommend changing those keybinds ASAP for the love of God.
I will say though, there's nothing worse than a game that doesn't like give you the option to fully customize your keys. And it
Yeah,
makes no sense when that is the case, because all it means is you're changing the input. It doesn't
yeah,
change anything else. All you're doing is pressing a specific key, and that does the action.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think it's going to be a situation where, as part of this update that we're going to discuss shortly, this will change. Day night cycle is too short. Yeah, I'll agree with that. It does fly by pretty quick. And the worst offender of all is lack of a life. That is what differentiates Stalker games from some post-apocalyptic wannabe clone. I personally don't buy that it has some bugs and will be hot fixed since they removed it from Steam description.
I'm not sure what that's
I
meant to
think
mean.
they're on about the A Life system. Mod community already does heavy lifting, but it will take some time for and full modding support from developers. In conclusion, I want to love the Stalker 2, and I can overlook a lot of problems, even most of them, but when the main bones of the game are missing, it's not full release, it's early access. I get that development was hard for GSC was hard, and I don't want to be harsh on them, but it's still a product, and I regret buying it right now. Wait for a life patch, performance fix, and mods. If you're okay with being quality assurance for a game. So I'm curious what he means about the A Life system being removed from the description. To be honest with you, I'd have to
Well,
search
it's
that.
not going to be in the description, Roy.
Yeah, I know it was there.
It's not going to be now.
Yeah, I know we covered it before,
In
but
fairness to the developers, though, how long was this game delayed for now? Because of what's happening?
about two, two, 2.5 years.
Yeah, I think at some point they probably just like people were so hyped for this game, and they know people were because the first games were loved, and I think they just wanted to try and get it out.
Yeah, I mean the other thing is, as much as this guy is obviously concerned about that, and I am fully with him on the A Life system because that it pretty much creates the NPCs walking around doing whatever and living their own lives. That's the
Instead
big
of
thing
just
about it.
standing there doing nothing.
Exactly. That's
Yeah,
what made Stalker what it was, and it made it
it adds
interesting.
a lot of immersion to games as well.
Yeah.
You're
So
not right. This guy always stands here, so I need to go to him next. That's his exact location. Instead, you go to his house where he normally would be, but he's not because he's off doing whatever routine he has,
yeah, stuff like
which
that.
makes a massive difference in the game. It forces you to go somewhere else, and you can have another encounter on the way to that place, or just
Yeah,
something, even something small.
spot on with that. But the developers have been responding. And the A
Okay.
life system was something they mentioned as well. As you can see, someone had a complaint here. Developer replied, "We're glad it's caught your attention. Thank you for the feedback and truly value every impression from our players and are collecting all suggestions to make the game better. If you have any technical questions, please don't hesitate to reach out here. We're truly sorry that the A Life system didn't meet your expectations. We understand how crucial a dynamic and living world is to the series and will continue working on improving the system. Regarding the combat system and our AI behavior, our technical team is already actively addressing these issues. Your feedback is extremely important to us because we want to create a game that not only meets but exceeds players' expectations. Thank you for helping us improve." And they're responding to loads of people like this. So it's
That guy had an awful fucking response to that, by the way.
what?
It's the start of it. It's
I
straight
didn't
calling them a
say
dumb
they were
fuck.
bad. I think he might be responding to this guy.
Possible, I suppose.
Yeah, I've
I
got
don't
no
know.
idea. It should be something similar here. Yeah, combat system for this one. So pretty much, they're starting to respond to them. They're trying to get like an understanding across between everyone. And that's good to hear.
It's obvious the amount of work they've put into the
Oh
game.
yeah,
Given their situation, they were still working on it, and they refused to move for so long.
100%.
And I genuinely do feel like they just wanted to get the game out so people could start playing it, and then
Yeah,
work on it more from there.
it
I
definitely
think it
feels that
might
way.
be a similar sort of development to Cyberpunk, just
Yeah.
not have to wait like over a year for it to happen.
Yeah, no, I get that.
No offense to CD Project Red, the game's great now, but fuck me, take your
Yeah.
time.
Oh, 100%.
I
So,
think it's going to be easier for these guys to get the game in a more working condition with feedback from the community.
definitely so. Definitely. So, info regarding future patch. We listened to your comments and feedback. Here is the following up. What the following update will include. So, this is just the first patch that is going to be released, which comes apparently next week. Mental to think about. So,
Look at
hello,
that.
Stork.
Not over a year, only a week. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
hello, Stalkers.
Sorry, I'm done now.
Are you sure? Stuck to Heart of Chernobyl is getting its first patch during the week to come, both on PC and Xbox. The game has been out for several days now. It's surreal to say that. And we've been following your feedback in all possible forms carefully. To the more than 1 million stalkers in the zone, thanks for playing. That means the world to us. By the way, that isn't on about just Xbox, Game Pass players. No, no, no. They actually sold 1 million copies.
Awesome.
It's deserved, to be honest with you. I'm
And
honestly happy to see it.
the great part about that as well is that means that will give them the funds to put so much time and effort into
Yeah,
fixing what's wrong with the game, which is why
100%.
a week later they're already going to release a patch, which
Yeah,
hopefully will be massive.
fingers crossed. So Uh, yeah, thanks for playing. Means the world to us. We are sure that you have things to handle in the zone, but so do we. The following updates will include.
How long?
Okay,
How long's this page? Real quick, let's just get a quick scroll
it's
down.
not too long, but it's long
Okay.
enough. So crash fixes including issues and memory allocation failures, which previously caused the game to exit unexpectedly, particularly around rendering skeletal meshes and quest-related cutscenes. Main quest progression fixes, including several bugs blocking the main quest progression, NPCs getting stuck in objects, incorrect quest markers, and issues with quest cutscenes, revision of the main quests, like Visions of Truth or a minor accident, to ensure smooth transitions, avoiding rare cases of players not being able to proceed further. Gameplay and balance adjustments, including fixing the price of weapons with upgrades installed compared to their value without attachments, understandably. NPCs' behavior, including the way they act when lacking a shelter during the emissions. Makes sense. Cutscene fixers, including rarely missing facial animations, misplaced NPCs, and visual inconsistencies, like detached heads and clothing clipping. Our old favorites there.
Uh,
Quality and
hey man,
stability.
there's some bugs that you're sad to see them go.
Oh, yeah.
Like imagine
Qual-
you're in just a serious cutscene and they're just there with plain face, just oh no, he's dead. Whatever. No, no, Timothy. Oh God. just imagine that with just complete stale face, no care
oh,
in the
yeah.
world.
Quality and stability improvements of the visual effects. Soft lock issues, that's to be expected. Issue where players were unable to close the trade screen after putting ammo in a wrong slot while playing on gamepad. That is an annoying soft lock issue, yeah.
That's like you can't do anything about it. You got to restart, and if you haven't saved,
Yeah.
well, unlucky.
Unlucky kidder. User interface improvements, including quest notifications, should now show correctly during dialogues. Corrected text and uh, corrected text and missing interaction prompts. Noted to be addressed in future updates. Analog sticks dead zones bug fix. I'm imagining then that controllers dead zones are off. And the A life system bug fixes. So they're going to focus on a lot of the priority ones immediately, and then the extra stuff is going to be addressed individually in much more detail, I'd imagine. But that's good for 1 week, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
for only a week too.
Yeah. So I'm quite happy with that so far. As you can see, I'm sure you'd be able to grab this online. Brain Edge R.
Hell yeah.
But some of the artwork that's been released for this game is absolutely phenomenal. And the developers so deserve, like, honestly, I'm still gobsmacked that the game's finally out. It's it's still not like properly there for me yet. But yeah, this is what. Why does he have an RPG?
Why do you not have an RPG?
That's a very good question. I also want to know the answer to this. But again, I'm only in zone 1 of the map. Oh yeah, you haven't seen the map yet, have you?
No. Is it huge?
Interactive map. Perfect. Except, where's the interactive map? There it is. So, to give you an example, I think it's about here. This little bit here is the first zone. I've not been out of it yet.
Nice.
This is the entire map.
There's nothing better though than knowing that you've got a huge map to explore.
Yeah, like I feel like I haven't even discovered 10% of the map I'm currently looking at, and yet I've basically been told, "Oh yeah, well, you've still got loads more here." Like half of these things I've not explored or checked out yet.
And then you've got to think they've kind of done the map really well because there's fog,
Yeah.
which is going to obviously lead to more map in the future.
Yeah, which is weird because this little bit here clearly has something. I'm just not sure what. It shows up as highlighting on the map, but yeah, this is the size of the map at the moment. Which I'm sure if they bring out DLC down the line, this is going to get bigger and bigger. And if
Oh
modders
yeah.
want to add to it, they can literally just unfog a little bit of the map and connect it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be too complicated for them. So yeah, Stalker 2 reached 1 million copies sold, which is insane.
Oh no.
What's up?
He's coming.
What's coming?
He's here. He's here, Roy.
Who's the ice cream van's back every
I kid
week.
you not. Through the entire week, he comes around at 7 p.m. It is
Uh,
complete darkness at 7 p.m. But only on Sunday.
only on Sunday.
I don't get it, man.
It's mental, man. It happens every week. Um, I still, yeah, this made me laugh.
Who the
The guy
hell
I
listens
follow,
to EA, man?
yeah, but he's not wrong. Still remember when EA said that single player games were a thing of the past and wouldn't sell well. Here's another reminder that single player games are here to stay. I remember this article because we fucking covered it, and it annoyed me then.
And it's still annoying him now.
Yes, yes, it is. So
It's not like it takes much at this rate.
no, no, it does not. I'm curious, are they right? So they've not really replied to too many people, other than to say thank you for the feedback. Very deserving. Thank you. No, thank you. So yeah, actually, this is something I'd just like to find. If I can just get a picture of the hood, that'd be great. I'm going. Yeah, hug. I'm going to be like blurring a lot of this out in this video because we got in trouble a couple of weeks back for just having a quick photo of Donald Trump appearing. So
Lovely.
yeah, that was fun. So weapon wheel, easy access to bits. But this is kind of the hood. If I can, there we go. So you got a map. These pop up, but they kind of disappear pretty quick. These little dots are interactables to pick up. These are the bits I was on about to you about how you've got your like 4 consumable slots.
Yeah.
Here you've got your health, your stamina, your radiation, any ailments, which that's bleeding. So use a fucking bandage, dude. Uh,
Just shoot specific.
yeah. Then you got your ammo count, what the ammo is, because you can have different variations of each ammo, and
Yeah.
what fire rate you're using. I forget what the word is. And
Your
then
fire
obviously
mode.
that's the one, fire mode. But then you've obviously got like your map, your inventory, all sorts of stuff in there. But yeah, this is the map page. Pretty self-explanatory. Nothing too complicated. The guns, as I said, I'm quite happy with. Oh, this is inventory. The red is broken. Yellow is on its way, and not without any is full durability.
See, if that was my inventory, I'd be moving ammo and consumables down to the bottom.
Yeah,
At least like the ones I'm gonna keep and be using.
no, I get that. The other thing that I feel like this guy's done a bit badly, to be honest, um, some guns stack if they're at the same durability, so they
Huh.
doesn't take up as much room. It's
It seems like
something.
you get a good amount of inventory space either
Oh
way.
yeah, it like the inventory page continues to go further, from what I
Huh.
remember.
Oh yeah, I can see there's a little bit of a scroll there.
Yeah, from
Nice
what I
enough.
recall, I'm not sure if it's the same in this game, but I don't think your backpack really has like an end, and you can just infinitely go down. But it'll
It's
fuck
more
with
the
your
weight.
carry weight, and
Yeah.
if you go past your carry weight, then obviously you can't move. But it will just slow you down at first and impact you a bit. As I said, basic map just highlights everything, shows you zones, things like that. This is my little submachine gun. You can also see when you hover over something, you can see damage, penetration, rate of fire, range, accuracy, automatic, sort of ammo it takes, the durability level in full, magazine 30, what it's worth at a shop, how much it weighs, etc. All details that you can just pull up pretty quick. I
Now,
can't
you know what
find
I
the
hear
word.
from past games?
Hmm?
It says the value of that gun is 10.5K.
Yeah.
Do you go to a trader and he gives you 50 gold for it instead? Even
Um,
though it says on this page it's clearly 10.5K.
I can't say for certain because one, I don't have that guy's gun. I should have killed him and got it. To be honest with you, I really should have. I'm kind of upset I haven't now. But the scopes he's got, for example, on it, I'd say would make it up to that because when I sold that base gun, which is just the AKM-74S, recently, I got 6 grand for it. So it's not much of a push to claim that pretty much full durability with a bit of with a few attachments on, that's going to get up to 10k. So I'd say yeah, that's right. We've already spoke about it stuck to multiplayer. I don't think it really needs to be brought up any further on that one. But yeah, there's some really nice little screenshots that are coming out of it. Lots of nice little things. I'm quite enjoying it. Stuck to Heart of Chernobyl has almost single-handedly saved 2024 from being an absolute rubbish year for gaming. What do you think, Will?
In the last few years have been rubbish.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that.
That's putting it politely.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you.
We've just seen so much stuff that's just been awful. We've been seeing so many releases that have just been beyond underwhelming. I just feel like we're not really getting the quality games we used to get.
No, I'm fully with you. I do apologize for the delay that I had to ban someone from the comment section.
Yay!
More bots. Stuck to yeah, so a last minute salvation. Yeah, just as the bloody Game of the Year awards are coming out, by the way, which is quite funny. It seems
Well,
to be like tradition at this point that as the Game of the Year awards are releasing this year, a game that comes and kind of flips it on its head releases. It
not
happens.
to crush anyone's hopes or dreams, but I don't know if they'll get that much out of the game, given the amount of bugs and stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe like storylines or atmosphere setting. You know, they might be in line for those sort of things.
I mean to be honest, it's still better than a lot of games that have released so far. So
As the last few years have done, they've set the bar very low. So
yeah, the rest of the games did. These guys have
you know,
kind of come and like raised the
we've
bar a
literally
bit.
yeah we've literally had indie games massively outperforming triple and quadruple A
Yeah,
games.
exactly.
So not much really needs to be said about that.
No, not in the slightest. When Gamer goes into hibernation over the holidays, we'll be leaving you with the traditional treat of our Game of the Year awards. Through our exhaustive deliberations, we've picked out a cracking set of games, but I've got to admit, it was an incredibly hard time this year. Thanks to the knock on effect of COVID 19 and the tragic axing and savage pruning of so many studios, 2024 has become a pretty bleak year. Delays and disappointments have become the norm. Due to this, I confess that a couple of my personal Game of the Year nominations were largely perfunctory games? No idea. That were undeniably fun, which I would absolutely recommend to people regardless of the year, but which I can't pretend I'm actually passionate about. This is not to say that there haven't been some corkers. Metaphor, for instance, is probably my all-time favorite JRPG, even better than Persona 5. But even with that still fresh in my mind, it wasn't quite enough to wash away that the sense that when I look back at 2024, I'm not going to recall it with any fondness. Then Stalker 2 arrived. I've not played nearly as much of GSC's triumphant sequel as I would have liked, largely thanks to the derelict husk that is my treacherous body. Fair enough. I was stuck with some kind of evil superflu last weekend, and even something as simple as sitting at my desk hunting for anomalies leaves me exhausted. Yet I've still spent as much time as I'm physically capable of hanging out in the zone, and when I'm laid up in bed, it's all I can think about. Stalker 2
Gamer.
is yeah.
Being ill is the best time to play games.
Yeah. Stalker 2 is not remotely our best reviewed game of 2024, and to be clear, I haven't read another review that aligns with my own feelings towards the game more than ours. Josh is the perfect Stalker reviewer. He has a love for the strange and a high tolerance for jank, but he still recognizes that it's abrasive and rough around the edges. Quality can sometimes be detrimental. Anyway, it's Fork's pass to review a reviewer, especially when said reviewer is a colleague. My point is, 83% is an extremely fair score for Stalker 2, but it's still the best thing to happen to 2024. Stalker 2 is not a product. I don't like it when critics call games experiences, but I'll make an exception here. The zone is a place you inhabit rather than visit, where you toil and struggle and die, and never quite find your footing. It is an endurance challenge full of quiet nightmares and loud gunfights, but it's also playful, silly, and surprising, full of secrets and surprising beauty. A place that defies categorization, instead revealing in its juxtapositions that it does not feel like a simple game setting. It might also sound like I'm describing Erdtree's Land of Shadow, but they are very different destinations. From Software's realms are highly cultivated and precisely designed, from Dark Souls to Sekiro to Elden Ring, and when I find myself grasping at its elegant, I don't even know,
Elegant.
elegant, elegant, I can't read, my eyes hurt.
No.
The zone,
I'm
meanwhile, is
also very confused how we've got from Stalker to Dark Souls, but okay.
yeah, same
This is a terrible fucking article.
analogy.
The whole article, the wording is being terrible.
Fair play. The zone, meanwhile, is fucking raw. It's dirty and bleak and rough.
Gordon
When you
Ramsay, is that you?
when you play Stalker 2, you have to approach it on its own terms. You have. I don't even know what I'm reading
Did
sometimes.
you need to take 5, Roy?
I'm okay. I'm almost there now. Sure, you have plenty of agency and a bunch of other ways to tackle any given situation, but it won't make any concessions to allow you to have a good time. You have to do the work. I'm not doing that. But yeah, pretty much to run it simply.
Oh my
Jesus
god!
God.
What?
That was a lot longer than I thought it was. Okay. Yeah, I
That's
packed
not a
that in pretty
review,
quick.
that's a storybook.
So,
Oh my god.
yeah. Stalker 2, to put it lightly, it's a rough game. It always has been. All the Stalker franchise has been. It's what it is. But
It's
it's
suited for the time they were released, but I think these days they need to get it working better than
yeah,
what it used to.
100%. Don't get me wrong. I am two things here. One, I do have some bias. I'm pretty sure that's obvious because of how much I love the Stalker franchise. But the other part is I have kind of been giving a lot of leeway considering what they've been going through.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those things that kind of you feel the need to do, which is kind of still annoying me.
Yeah, I mean, the game could definitely be in a better state, but
Yeah,
not many developers have an actual excuse,
no.
which they definitely have one.
See, there's also a mod that people have released because you can't sell broken gear. So people have made a mod to be able to sell broken gear in Stalker 2. Because I mean, otherwise, I'm just hoarding for no reason.
Hoarding's always great, though. Love hoarding.
Yeah, I hoard everything, but I don't want to be hoarding for no reason. It's failing for me at that point.
Are we just skipping that article that you just closed? Because we didn't
That's what it
actually.
was about. It was
Oh,
just about the mod
just selling broken
that
guns.
yeah, it was about the mod
Oh,
that sells broken guns. That's it. That,
fair enough.
that's why I basically just used it as a reminder to bring that up. But yeah, the modding community is doing some good work, and that pretty much is them. But I feel like I've covered everything I wanted to cover. So now I have to run this back to you, Will. Is there anything that you'd like to mention this week? Because it pretty much has just been me rambling about Stalker.
I mean, it's been good to hear about it, to be honest. I went and actually I forgot it's on Game Pass, so I went and installed it. And I'll see about giving it a go at some point. But it's good to see that they're already going to push an update. I
Yeah.
might just wait for that.
Oh, understandably so, to be honest. I think I'm probably because I am not at work tomorrow, which is amazing news for me. So I think I might actually do a stream on my private Twitch tomorrow, and play some Stalker 2 live. See what people think. Um, I've already got the Twitch account linked to this one, so this one will just automatically recommend it. So yeah, uh, probably about the same time that the game releases, the video releases tomorrow, I'll be sat playing Stalker 2 live.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to pop by, feel free to do so. But yeah, I think that's everything. Unless, as I said, if there's anything else, but I can't think of anything.
Nothing that comes to mind for now.
Perfectos. Well, in that case, then, thank you all very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, feel free to like, follow, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will catch you all in the next one. Bye for now, guys.
Have a good one, guys. See you next week.